I hate mules. Well, actually, I don't. They seem like nice enough animals, but I do hate what they do to the trails at Grand Canyon. It seems like I'm in the minority, though. The businesses at Grand Canyon use mules to brand their personal care products. They put photos of mules on the walls of the hotels, and they even have lamps shaped like mules. The businesses wouldn't use such branding unless it helps them make money. I don't know who would like my image of mules in mind when they use mule branded hand cream, but apparently some people don't mind. For a one-time visitor, the mules likely seem like a charming aspect of Grand Canyon, but for a regular hiker, they're a problem. Mules admittedly played an important part in the development of Grand Canyon National Park. They carried workers and supplies to the bottom of the canyon and evacuated the injured. But those times are gone. Black Bridge was built in 1928 with the labor of men and mules, but Silver Bridge, built in 1965, used helicopters for the heavy lifting. Of course, mules are not native to Grand Canyon. They were imported, along with horses and donkeys, by the Europeans. Grand Canyon seems a bit inconsistent in dealing with the native populations. The park now prohibits spreading cremains because it might offend the 11 tribes that claim the canyon as their ancestral homeland. But they bar the same people from living within the park unless they're employees, and they let the imported livestock befoul the trails in ways that occasional ashes never would. Mules are created when you crossbreed a horse and a donkey, and they can only be created this way. They cannot reproduce amongst themselves to create other mules. These animals are purpose-bred, made by man to serve man, and nature does not see fit to allow the line to continue. I don't know why this bothers me, but it does. Mules are a genetic dead end. Here's one of the lovely byproducts of the mules. I don't think you can imagine the smell, but it's not pleasant. Here's an example. The mules with their metal shoes have completely abraded away this piece of wood that was placed to stop erosion on the trail. Just up the trail, some of these rebar were the only thing remaining. Not exactly a safe situation if you fall. These two pieces of rebar once held a piece of wood that would stop the erosion of water down the trail. The mules have completely destroyed it. All that remains is this rebar, not exactly safe, and certainly not stopping erosion at this point in time. That's one of the prices you pay to have mules on the trail. The mules and their shoes even crack the rocks on the trail. Mules weigh as much as 1,000 pounds each, and they beat up the trail with their weight and their metal shoes. The mules have trashed South Kaibab Trail to the extent that the Park Service has shifted their route to Bright Angel Trail. Here's a photo of South Kaibab Trail at the intersection of River Trail as it once appeared. Nothing like the rutted mess the trail is today. The mules are now proceeding to destroy Bright Angel Trail the way they did South Kaibab Trail. The Park Service claims to only have half the money necessary to rehabilitate Kaibab and Bright Angel trails, but it still allows the mules to trash the trails. Why? Mules carry fewer than 20 riders to Phantom Ranch a day, but cause 90% of the trail damage. If the mules were removed from the trail, the park's budget for maintaining the trails would be sufficient. The park did consider the issue of mules more than a decade ago, and instead of limiting their use, they adopted a plan to increase mule traffic in the canyon by 20%. The mules carry patrons and supplies to Phantom Ranch and return with refuse and the occasional sack of mail. Now, hikers and backpackers are required to leave no trace behind and carry in and out all of their supplies and refuse. Why are the Phantom Ranch patrons an exception? I think the explanation is a blend of profit, tradition, and elitism. Unless they're disabled, I see no reason why Phantom patrons need a mule ride to the bottom. It's just a good profit center for the business that runs the lodge. Plus, mules are inefficient. They carry about 150 pounds of supplies or refuse, and they take 2 days to make the round trip. On the way, 8 to 10 mules carry supplies with a rider at each end, making up a team of 10 to 12. That means it takes 2 days with 2 employees working full-time to move about 1,200 pounds. The Grand Canyon has 2 helicopters with the capacity to carry more than 6,900 pounds and fly at 150 miles an hour. A single helicopter flight can carry the same load of 46 mules and complete the task in less than an hour, not 2 days. And although the helicopter makes some noise, it's not destroying the trails the way the mules do. Phantom Ranch certainly did fine without mule traffic when there was 3 feet of snow on the trail this year, preventing the mules from running. And they'll do fine next year when mule traffic will be suspended for months as Bright Angel Trail is closed and the Trans-Canyon water line is repaired. There are better ways to get the job done. Mules are no longer necessary nor desirable on the trails at Grand Canyon. Plus, mules cost between $1,000 to $10,000 each to purchase. They require food and housing, and what happens to them when they retire? Although some could go to slaughterhouses, disposing of a mule carcass can be costly, and options run from taking them to the dump to a cremation or burial. I don't hate mules, but I do hate the destruction they cause on the trail, the waste they leave behind, and the double standard applied by the park to hikers who need to pack in and pack out their supplies, and the phantom guests who have mules do the work for them. Thank you for watching.